Howdy guys, so as most of you know, I am a huge fan of these bait knives. These are $2.87 at Walmart. Anyway, my buddy bought one of these. He bought a survival kit, or like, you know, some kind of like novelty camp set at Walmart. And it actually had a fairly nice little knife, but he had no use for this ferro rod. He asked me if I wanted it. So, it's one of those that the ferrocerium rod is actually a teeny tiny little rod set into a bigger casing to make it look like it's a more robust ferro rod. But I struck it and I was surprised. I'm going to do this in the house. I don't recommend that, people. But I struck it and I was actually really surprised with the amount of sparks it threw. And it's long, so you've got some area to work with. So I wanted to go ahead and attach it to my sheath because I looked up the price of these on Amazon and they're $2, if even that. And sometimes you can get 3 or 4 of them for like $4 or $5, depending on which whom you buy it for, which provider you buy it from on there. So I thought, you know what, $2.87 knife, $2 ferro rod, $5. You've got a nice little bushcraft setup if we can figure out how to attach this to this sheath. So first go-to is Ranger bands, and I'll show you a video of those in use right now. All right, see, this is just the paracord holding the firesteel in place, and as you can see, it works perfectly fine. And you have to, you know, work to get it out of there, but you also have to work hard to get it back in there. Okay, and as you've seen, those Ranger bands worked perfect, standalone. They did the job. And Ranger bands, these are just made out of a bicycle inner tube, just a standard bike inner tube, and you cut yourself any length or width that you want. Most people who practice bushcraft find so many applications for these. They hold your little fire tins together. You can cut big long sections of inner tube out and make slingshot bands. So, you know, spend $4 or $5 on an inner tube and find dozens of uses for, you know, the Ranger or the rubber off of it. So anyway, I took an ink pen, and I'll show you a picture of that real quick up in the corner. Okay, and I just cut a little section of it out. I actually cut a bigger section and decided it actually looked better and worked better with a smaller section. And if you can tell, it's like a little pinch there. I just scored it with my knife, my blade on here, and then pinched it and wallowed it back and forth until it popped off there. So what you're going to want to do to get this sheath on there, or this firesteel on your sheath, I took a little section of T-Rex tape. It's just like duct tape, only it's thicker. A little bit smaller than my piece of pen cap. And what you just need to do is look around your house and find you a pen that, you know, is the right size or about just a hair bit bigger. It looked to me like Crayola markers were a perfect size for this. So I'm gonna do it like this. Okay. So just get it started on your sheath. Start it up on the corner. I want my ferro rod to hang in the middle here, and I'll show you why. Pull it tight and bring it over. Black tape works perfect for this, black electrical tape, because it has some stretch to it, and it'll actually, see, mother, and popped off, and it'll actually hang on there real tight and has some stretch, so you can get it super tight. Just keep working this around, get it all the way as tight as you can, and it'll still have a little bit of wiggle room there, but not so much, or not too much. And if you use that black tape, like I said, pull it tight as you go around, and it has that little bit of stretch, and it really makes attaching this thing so easy. It hangs on there real tight. Just take a couple Ranger bands, which you could also take some paracord and do a whip around this, and that would look nice. If you're not familiar with paracord whipping, you can look that up online. It only takes a few minutes to learn. I could actually do a video on that. But just work your Ranger bands up over this. And these Ranger bands are really tough to get on, but that's the point. You know, especially when they're going up plastic, that's the point. They'll hold things in place really snug. And that's what I mean. If you're trying to wiggle your firesteel up and out of that constantly, it will hold it in there tight, but you're probably going to find yourself one day thinking, nah, I'll get that in a few minutes, and you'll put your firesteel in your pocket, or just set it down and it'll fall out. That's one of the reasonings behind having this. But, you know, just finesse it to however you like. If you don't like that little bit of red poking out on either, or the pin cap poking out on either end, you can kind of flap it over the edge, or you can just burn the end of that cap to where it's dark. Just hit it with a little lighter for a minute, or, you know, just cut this just a tiny bit longer. So, not too bad, not too bad. Get it even. And, you know, you could finesse it and line these up, and it would look a lot nicer, but, like I said, I'm not too worried about that. Alright, so, we got the Ranger bands on there. You could do it this way, and it would hold in there fairly well, and you can still get your knife in and out, but I'm going to do it on this end. Okay, so with time, that cap will probably wallow out, or maybe you found a cap that's just a hair bit bigger, and you don't want to risk your fire steel falling out. What I'm going to recommend is to get yourself a hair tie like this. And most long-haired folks, most people know some long-haired folk that's got one. You got a girlfriend, a boyfriend, someone's got long hair. So you say, Chrissy, how am I going to get this hair tie in here? Because that's kind of small. This is just standard old dental floss. I take it, run the tip, run it through like this. You could do fishing line if you got some fishing line, or you could pull a strand out, some paracord, whatever you got. But this dental floss works well. It's cheap, and you can kind of roll it over and make like a little needle out of it. Run it through, pull it up there, pinch it, pinch the back of your, see, pinch this, kind of help it get started, and just pull it on through. And wiggle it as you go. Pull it out so you got a little loop. And there you go, you got a little elastic on there that's gonna, little elastic hairband that's gonna hold your fire steel in place. So, through the bottom, loop it over the fire steel itself. Boom. There you go. Not too bad looking, if I don't say so myself. And, you know, if you want to adjust it further or put it over on the side, whatever you want to do. I just like the positioning of it there. If you can see, it doesn't affect that blade at all with it being on the bottom. Doesn't affect it whatsoever. Alrighty guys, that'll do it for me. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again next time.